Okay, I will call to order this 86th meeting of the National Advisory Council for Human Genome Research. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you, and welcome to those who are both in the room and who are joining us remotely by videocast. I will turn this over to our Executive Secretary, Rudy Pozzatti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Council. Let me remind you that we're webcasting the open session of the Council, and there is an archive kept of all Council meetings going back to 2011, I believe. Please remember to use your microphones. Even though you can hear one another here in the room, it's lost from the archive if you don't use your microphone when you speak. And I think we can have 3 or 4 of the mics open at the same time, and then feedback and other problems ensue. So shut it off when you're done talking, please. So we're going to begin with some introductions. We have new council members to introduce and new staff members at NHGRI. Dr. Mark Craven is professor in the Department of Biostatistics and Medical Informatics at the University of Wisconsin. He also holds joint appointments in the Institute for Clinical and Translational Research and the Comprehensive Cancer Center at the University of Wisconsin. Dr. Craven's research interests are quite broad. A major focus in his lab is to apply machine learning methods to predict models of gene networks and protein interactions in different biological systems. These include defining cellular networks in host virus interactions and breast cancer susceptibility, developing models that relate viral genotypes to host disease phenotypes, and using data in electronic health records and genetic data to predict health outcomes such as post-hospitalization-related venothromboembolisms. Dr. Craven has served on editorial boards for several scientific journals and as a reviewer for dozens of others. He has served multiple tours of duty on NIH study sections, including as chair of the Biomedical Informatics, Library, and Data Science Review Committee. He has also served the peer review process for other funding agencies in the US and Canada. He has a highly successful funding record, having received support from the National Science Foundation, the Defense Department, and multiple institutes of NIH. Welcome, Mark. Joshua Denny. Dr. Denny is a professor in the Department of Biomedical Informatics and Medicine at the Vanderbilt School of Medicine. He also serves as the director for the Center for Precision Medicine at Vanderbilt. His research interests span many aspects of medical informatics, including applying natural language processing methods to extract information from electronic health records, performing phenotyping from electronic health records data, and conducting EMR-based phenome-wide associations. He is also active in the field of pharmacogenomics research. Dr. Denny has performed seminal role in the All of Us research program, having served on the Precision Medicine Initiative Working Group. And he currently serves as the PI of the All of Us Data and Resource Center grant. Josh has served on over 20 peer review panels at NIH, including 4 years of service as a standing member of the Biomedical Informatics Library and Data Science Review Panel. He has an exemplary funding record, receiving awards from the National Science Foundation and several institutes at NIH, and he was elected to the National Academy of Medicine in 2017. Welcome, Josh. Hal Dietz. Dr. Dietz is the Victor McCusick Professor of Medicine and Genetics and the Director of the William Smilo Center for Marfan Syndrome Research at the Institute of Genetic Medicine at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. He's also an investigator of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. His medical training was in pediatrics and pediatric oncology. He has a long-standing interest and an accomplished record of achievement in the study of Marfan syndrome. His current clinical service and research interests are focused on providing diagnosis and management of individuals with heritable forms of cardiovascular disease, Marfan syndrome, and related connective tissue disorders. He served on the editorial boards of several prominent journals, including the American Journal of Human Genetics, the American Journal of Medical Genetics, and Clinical and Translational Science. He is a member of the Academy of American Physicians and was inducted to the National Academy of Sciences in 2011. He served as the president of ASHG in 2016. He has also served on several advisory committees for NIH, including the Advisory Committee to the Deputy Director for Intramural Research, the Advisory Council of the National Institutes for Arthritis and Musculoskeletal and Skin Diseases, and as the chair and member of NHGRI's Board of Scientific Counselors. Welcome, Hal. Stephen Rich. Steve Rich is Harrison Professor and Vice Chair of Public Health Sciences and the Director of the Center for Public Health Genomics at the University of Virginia School of Medicine. He also holds appointments in the Department of Medicine and the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Genetics. Dr. Rich was trained in population genetics and genetic epidemiology. He was involved in some of the earliest genome-wide association studies of large disease cohorts. He's worked on an extensive number of disease phenotypes, but most prominently diabetes, cardiovascular disease, epilepsy, and seizure syndromes, and renal disease. He's author on over 500 peer-reviewed journal articles. Steve is an active member of the American Diabetes Association, where at various times over the past 20-plus years, he has served as a member of the Board of Directors, the Research Policy Committee, the Research Leadership Council, and the Program Committee. He's also a member of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, the American Heart Association, and the American Society for Nephrology. And he has served on various leadership roles in all of those organizations. He has served as an advisor or peer reviewer for several institutes of the NIH, including Eye, Aging, Child Health, Heart, Lung, DK, NIAMS, NIAID, and now NHGRI. Sorry for the abbreviations, but I would never get through that list without resorting to NIH shorthand. He has served on the editorial boards of several prominent scientific journals and is a reviewer for an entire page of journals. Dr. Rich has an impressive funding record, having received grants from multiple institutes of NIH and many private funding agencies. He served on over 60 peer review panels at NIH, several times for committees I organized. Yeah, I'm almost done, Steve. And he chaired some of the more challenging committees that I asked him to do. Welcome back, Steve. Okay, we also have new employees at NHGRI that I would like to introduce to the council. When I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing so the council can see who you are and associate your name with your tasks. Sergio Sen, please. Dr. Sen is a new program director in the Division of Genome Sciences. After his doctoral training at Louisiana State University, Sergio came to NHGRI Intramural Research Program for a postdoctoral fellowship, where he built bioinformatics pipelines to analyze RNA-seq data for the ClinSeq project. He also managed collaborative projects involving NHGRI and NHLBI, working with Gary Gibbons on large-scale sequencing projects for coronary artery disease, hypertension, and sudden coronary death syndrome. He's moved to the NCI Intramural Research Program in 2016, where he served as the co-director of the Microbiome and Genetics Laboratory, again working with large-scale sequence data production and bioinformatics analysis of the data. As a program director at NHGRI, in addition to managing an investigator-initiated grant portfolio and training programs in genome sciences, he'll be working on initiatives involving informatics and cloud-based platforms for genomic data. Welcome, Sergio. Devin Bumbry-Quarles. Devin is a grants management specialist in the Grants Administration Branch of NHGRI's Extramural Research Program. Prior to joining NHGRI, Devin worked at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease for 18 years as a grants specialist, the last 3 of which she served as team leader. Thank you, Devin. Donna Morris. Donna is also grants management specialist at NHGRI. She began her career at the National Cancer Institute in administrative management and then transitioned to the NCI Contracts Management Branch. After several years at NCI, Donna went on to work in the Contracts Branch of the National Institutes of Neurological Diseases and Stroke, and later to the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, the Public Health Service, as a management analyst. Donna returned to NIH as a contract officer at National Institutes of Drug Abuse, and she now joins NHGRI. Welcome, Donna. And now new employees in the Office of the Director at NHGRI. Sarah Bates. Sarah is the new chief of our Communications and Public Liaison branch within the Division of Policy, Communications, and Education. Before joining NHGRI, Sarah worked at the National Science Foundation, where she was the communications lead for the Engineering Directorate Program and for NSF's portion of the BRAIN Initiative. Prior to that, Sarah worked at the Society for Neuroscience on their science communications activities. She has undergraduate degrees in physics and English and a master's degrees in both journalism and astronomy. Welcome, Sarah. Zachary Utz. Zach is an archival and research assistant working in the History of Genomics program within the Communications and Public Liaison branch. Zach received a Master's of Arts degree in Historical Studies from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, with an emphasis in public history. As an archivist, Zach will curate the NHGRI archive and assist in scholarly research projects. Welcome, Zach. And Kim Jacoby Morris. In April, Kim joined the Education and Community Involvement branch as the newest education specialist. Dr. Morris earned her PhD in chemistry from Temple University. She is a former postdoctoral fellow at the National Institutes of Biomedical Engineering and Bioengineering's Intramural Research Program. Since 2017, Kim has been on detail in the Education and Community Involvement branch, where she has led initiatives such as the Community Studio for adoptees who are interested in learning how DNA sequence data can be used to reveal information about one's race, ethnicity, and ancestry. She has also worked on the development of media educational resources that make use of plain language text and provide information about genetic testing for individuals who are hearing impaired. Welcome, Kim. I'd like to acknowledge our Council Society liaison members, Ellen Giorelli from the International Society of Nurses and Genetics, Mona Miller from the American Society of Human Genetics, Catherine Lambertson from the Genetic Alliance, Rhonda Schonberg from the National Society of Genetic Counselors, and Mike Watson from the American College of Medical Genetics and Genomics. And Rhonda and Mona are here with us, and Ellen is coming in via the web. So thank you for spending time with us today. We also have a couple of visiting guests, Derek Scholes from ASHG and Rachel Levinson from Arizona State University. Thank you and welcome. Next item is approval of the council minutes from the February 2019 council meeting. Compelling reading. I'm sure you've all reviewed them thoroughly. Do you have any suggestions or edits or corrections to make? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the February meeting? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The easiest thing you'll do all day. Future meeting dates. On the open session agenda, we have the next 6 meetings through 2021. Please have a look at those dates. Check your calendars. If you've noticed a schedule conflict, contact me and, more importantly, Comfort Brown.